Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. Let's see if we can try that again. I promise we'll sound better. All right, there you go. We're back. We're live. It is another brand new live edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond with you. And we are going to start off today. Yesterday, Alabama football put this out. Tom Rinaldi with The Voice.
How do you begin to tell your story? It's hard to imagine that one man could change a university, a program, a town, and a team as much as you have. But here you are. Your story started on a tarmac in Tuscaloosa, and sure, there were some challenges to overcome. But you believed in the process.
And what I would like for every football team to do that we play is to sit there and say, I hate playing against these guys.
Little did anyone know, 2009 would end up with a crystal ball in Pasadena and the first Heisman Trophy in school history.
The Heisman Trophy is awarded to Mark Ingram.
But it wasn't just the trophies you were after. You cared for this town and its people. When disaster struck in 2011 and a tornado tore through Tuscaloosa, you and Miss Terry were the ones who believed we could rebuild. You didn't run from adversity. You attacked it. Sure, LSU won the first time in 2011.
LSU remains undefeated.
But not the second.
LSU and Alabama.
Your back was against the wall so many times, but you and your team fought its way out.
We control it right here.
2012.
Celebrations begin. Alabama wins.
2015.
Can the drink can fly?
The Alabama Brotherhood means something. Just look at 2017. Jalen cared about one thing, the team.
Wouldn't be surprised if he gets a shot.
And Tua entered. And then, magic.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
But as you always have, you saw the bigger picture. And in 18, the roles were reversed. And you had an unwavering belief in your players like you always have.
I'm so proud of this guy for what he's done this year. I can't even tell you.
Fast forward to 2020. You saw a time where you had to stand for something. You listened, trusted your players, stood with them, and they believed in you. It ended with more hardware.
To the top of the college football mountain.
But the hardware was never what you were chasing, was it, Coach?
National champion.
No, you were after the relationships, the growth, the standard, the love of the game. And not to mention, you had a heck of an assistant coach to help you do it. But now, Coach Saban, the next chapter of your life begins.
Roll Tide, baby. Here we go.
And you get to do the one thing that maybe you aren't great at. Rest. Maybe the whistle won't be around your neck, and the headset is tucked away. And now, instead of coach, you'll hear Papa, Dad, Brother, and Nick. Your process may change. The process you taught so many, that will live on forever. Coach, what you've built isn't going anywhere. The standard isn't going anywhere. And believe it or not, your story is still being written. So as you embark on your next journey, continue to enjoy the memories. Cherish the moments. Continue to love the process. And as you said best, Coach, this isn't the end. This is the beginning.
I want everybody here to know, this is not the end. This is the beginning.
That was a video put out yesterday by Alabama football and voiced by the one, the only person really that could do that video justice, Tom Rinaldi, former ESPN, now at Fox. And anytime Tom Rinaldi opens up like that and reads something like that, just get the tissues out.
Yeah. That's the second time I've heard it. It's emotional every time you hear it. I'm just thankful that I got a chance to experience the whole ride. The last 10 years, being basically in the media and getting to interact with them a little bit and getting to cover the team, but just also just being a fan for part of it too. My father got to experience Coach Bryant's entire run and got to see this too. But I'm just glad I got to see something that equals or even surpasses what Coach Bryant did. And I'm not taking any kind of, anything away from what Coach Bryant did. They're the two greatest coaches in the history of the sport. And what Nick Saban did for the state of Alabama cannot be replicated on and off the football field. He grew the university, tripled it in size. It's one of the best universities academically and athletically in the country. One of the most high-profile brands in the country. He's pushed the athletic department to be great as a whole, not just football.
Right.
He was behind that. His wife is a very special person who has done so much for so many, including helping us. It's something that's surreal. It's tough to know that he's not going to coach anymore, but he will be in the building, and that's awesome. For him to be around the program and be around the sport, because he wants what's best for the sport, and he wants what's best for Alabama, and I don't think there's any question about that. And he's the greatest that's ever done it. He went out with a great football team. He, in some cases, some coaches, they coach too long.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. He left on his own terms, which is what he needed to do. And he's going to help this transition. He's going to help Alabama, and I think he wants Alabama. He wants the sport of college football to continue to flourish, but I think he wants Alabama to continue to be the standard.
So,
and now that's Greg Burns' job, the administration at Alabama, President Bell, is to keep this train rolling and to keep Alabama the most prominent program in the country. And as I told my father, both of us, he raised me and educated me on football. We both hate Notre Dame with every fiber in our being. Alabama and Coach Bryant had some very, very heart-wrenching defeats. Coach Bryant didn't have a lot of luck against Notre Dame. That's probably the one school that he didn't. But I'll tell you what Nick Saban did, and that's why it's a tag team. Nick Saban separated Alabama from Notre Dame and everybody else. As I told my father, he took a sledgehammer to Notre Dame. He made up for 1966. He made up for 1973. And Alabama has left Notre Dame in the dust, and Alabama is the standard, the greatest college football program, bar none, ever.
When you say that coaches have stayed too long, what's the first coach that comes to mind?
Joe Paterno.
Okay.
Second, Bobby Bowden. I think both of them stayed a little bit too long. I think they both probably should have retired sooner. That's just my opinion. I think both had great Hall of Fame careers and did a lot for the game. And one of the greatest moments of Nick Saban's tenure is playing Penn State in 2010 in Tuscaloosa and having Bobby Bowden out there for the coin toss and Joe Paterno there before the end of his career. But, again, I just think overall he went out on his own terms. He went out doing well. Bill Snyder came back after trying to retire. But a lot of reason he did is because he had to reestablish Kansas State, which is now still rolling because it slipped when he left.
Right.
And he cared too much about it. And so I think Nick Saban has left Alabama's program in as strong a position as it's ever been, and that will be reflected on who they hire as a football coach. And I think Alabama's program is going to be one of the top 5 in the country still with the
Yeah.
resources, the support, and everything that Nick Saban has built.
All right, coming up here in just a minute, we are going to hear from Nick Saban. He sat down. He sat down with Reese Davis yesterday and had an extensive conversation. We will hear a little bit from that conversation. Mark from Spring Hill is next. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, morning, guys. Yeah, that was a great piece there done. I tell you, one person that won't get the credit and won't get that kind of presentation, and it's the guy who I think, I don't know, just a hero of mine at Alabama, Mal Moore, who was the one who refused to not get Coach Saban at a time where Alabama needed a guy like Saban. And we were in the pit for so long, and I wonder if Greg Byrne. I mean, you got to think he's a smart enough guy to know that the standard is there, the process is there, and some people talk about, well, you can get a defensive coordinator out of Georgia, or you can go do this or that, but anything less than going and getting the best, anything less than doing what Mal Moore did, is a failure. And I wanted y'all's thoughts on that quote.
They will get a great football coach, period. It will happen.
Right.
They're going to get a great football coach. I don't think it goes past about 4 people. Now it's down to 3. Could be down to 2. Could be down to 1. Could be announced today. But they're going to get a great football coach.
Yeah, the 72-hour window is coming up, I believe, tomorrow. I mean,
our great friend Josh Pate, who we are very, very blessed to have a very good relationship with, put something out last night, maybe 7 hours, 8 hours ago, about a 9-minute piece that he basically verbalized, I consider him a brother. I consider him one of the best in the business when it comes from a national perspective and being able to verbalize college football. He put on the air what I've been talking about with a circle of people that I trust. One of them will be on the show at 8:30, but his thoughts basically mirror mine. He went a little further than I would go as far as candidates go, but I do think Josh has it pegged, and I do think he said it last night that it would happen. He thought it would happen even as early as last night, but definitely today, that the search would be done. And that it was already well underway when Nick Saban retired. It was already, as he said, there's a lot of searches that go on without an opening.
Right,
because
right.
Athletic directors are already prepping themselves for the next step. And so Josh Pate, better than anyone I've ever heard from a standpoint of, a guy that understands the game of college football, knows how to verbalize it, knows how to get his point across, and is very, very well connected. And not just in the SEC. We're talking about national. You've heard him on our show on a weekly basis. When he's joined us weekly when he could. And he traveled all over the country this year for college football. He didn't just go to SEC games. He saw everything from Oregon to Washington, all the way across the country to Penn State and Michigan, and then to the SEC. By the time the college football playoff had started, as we had him on, there is nobody that's more well-versed in the college football playoff and who was playing than Josh. Now, did we get the picks right? No. But he still understood the college football. And so I just think he's got the search pegged. I said this yesterday, I don't think it gets past. I thought, and I'll freely admit, I'll wear it. I thought Dan Lanning was at the top. He was not. He was never even offered.
Yeah, that's where, a lot of people instantly thought Dan Lanning.
Yeah, and again, he checked off a lot of boxes.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But I just think the 4 guys, and it's not going to get past those 4. Dan Lanning, but he's out. So now that gets you down to 3.
Right.
And it's Steve Sarkisian, it's Kalen DeBoer.
Check.
And D'Amico Ryans.
Yes.
That's the 3 guys to me it will not get past. I know Mike Norvell's name has been brought up prominently. I don't think it's Norvell. I mean, we'll see. Things change. But I don't think it's Norvell. And it sure as hell isn't Lane Kiffin or Dabo Swinney.
Oh.
No shot.
Yeah,
Lane Kiffin's just having fun on Twitter is what Lane Kiffin is doing.
And that's why he ain't going to be the head football coach at the University of Alabama, because it ain't fun. You know what it's about? It's about grinding and winning. It's not about winning a press conference. It's not about winning a Twitter battle. It's not about being funny. It's not about being lazy. It's not about being an overrated recruiter. It's not about being a coach that can't beat Nick Saban. It's not about being a coach that's never won anything in his life except for a conference title at FAU. It's about winning championships and playing for national titles and being a winner. Not being one of the most overrated coaches in history who is living off his dad's name. Next question.
Well, I was just going to say two things, and I appreciate your candor. I think you're right on. How old is Sarkisian? I know that's sort of you may not know. I know Saban was 54, I think, or 55 when he came to Alabama. To me, all along, and I'm just one person, just always felt like it was Sarkisian. He had to leave. I know Coach Saban.
Steve Sarkisian, by the way, is 49.
Okay, he had to leave to come back. He had to go and be a head coach to ever have a chance to come back to Alabama. So that's just I put my money on that, and we'll see what happens. But I think Coach Sarkisian will be our next coach. I think he will do very, very well.
Thanks for the phone call, Mark. Who are we going to – let's see, what time is it here? Let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to stay on the phone lines. 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We're still all clear accident-wise, getting to that heavy traffic load, and, of course, with streets wet, you got a lot of accident potential, so you be careful on that ride in. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Before we get back out to the phone lines, I do want to play this for everybody. Nick Saban sat down with Reese Davis yesterday. And here is the first question right out of the gates that Reese asked the coach.
Let's start with the simplest question of all. Why did you decide that this was the right time to retire?
Well, I don't think there's any good time, especially when you're a coach, because once you're a coach, you think you're going to be a coach forever. But I actually thought that in hiring coaches, recruiting players, that my age started to become a little bit of an issue. People wanted assurances that I would be here for 3 years, 5 years, whatever, and that got harder and harder for me to be honest about. And to be honest, this last season was grueling. It was a real grind for us to come from where we started to where we got to. Took a little more out of me than usual, and you know, when people mentioned the health issue, it was really just the grind of, can you do this the way you want to do it? Can you do it the way you've always done it and be able to sustain it and do it for the entire season? And if I couldn't make a commitment to do that in the future, the way I think I have to do it, I thought maybe this was the right time based on those two sets of circumstances that, like I said, there's never a good time, but I thought maybe this was the right time.
So there's no illness. It's just the grind and the gruel of the season.
Yeah, there's no illness. Miss Terry's fine. I'm fine. But it was can you sustain the season? You know, from just a mental grind standpoint. And when I was young, you know, I could work till 2 a.m, get up at 6, and be there the next day and be full of energy and go for it. But when you get a little older, that gets a little tougher, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
That's a little bit. We're going to hear more from the coach as the morning goes along, but there you go. Reese Davis, Nick Saban. First interview since announcing his retirement. Let's go out to the phone lines. Let's go to LSU Lou first. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good, Lou.
Man, what's all the emotion going on? Like, we should be celebrating. Like, what's up with that?
It is celebrating, brother. That's what happens when the greatest of all time retires, and he's not going to be there to continue to dominate the sport like he did, unlike anybody else ever.
Man, it's just, some people, I've been hearing the comments about him retiring. Yeah, people are having fun with it because that's part of the sport. But also, people are taking it to heart like they were actually getting paid to be a fan. And that's the part that got a lot of people confused because, coaches come and go, and they do their thing. And he was great. He was great at LSU. He was great wherever he went. But, he's stepping away from it so he can enjoy life. And people sitting around and they're big mad, like they feel some type of way about it in the wrong way. Like, I think they should throw him a parade or something.
That'll happen.
But the emotion I'm hearing over the radio is like someone died, but no one passed away.
Never said he did.
I know. I'm not accusing you. I'm saying the emotion that we're getting. And it's like, and we understand.
It's authentic, bro. It ain't gator tears. I can tell you that.
All right. But
Alabama football's an emotional thing. People invest in it. That's why it's the greatest program ever.
Well, to each his own. I understand that, and I know
ain't no each.
It's Alabama. Yeah, it is. Because
LSU don't compare.
And how
they got a long way to go, bro.
You going by win? Are you going by wins?
I'm going by trophies and rings
Going by more
for
than
1920s. And I'm going by that Alabama could pay property taxes for what they do to Baton Rouge and what they do in Tiger Stadium. They own it.
It's about more than wins.
The grass is crimson, bro.
On your side,
So you don't tell me what I feel or what I don't. Okay? You're not putting words in my mouth, and you're not putting words in anybody else's mouth.
You're taking it personal.
Because it is personal. It is absolutely personal, and I have that right.
It's not personal. No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Personal.
I have that right to make it personal. So does any other fan.
No, his retirement isn't personal. His retirement is only personal to himself. All right? That's it. He retired from his job.
And I respect it. I'm glad he did it when he did it. It's just it's hard to know he's not going to be there to continue to run the program. Okay?
Yeah, you just took it personal when you came at me. That's why the fan base is talked about like they are.
Good. I'm glad. You know why they're talked about like they are? Because everybody wants to be Alabama, and they ain't, including LSU.
No, LSU is LSU.
And it's below Alabama, and it always will be.
Well, in your opinion, you got to think about it.
How is LSU better than Alabama in any way, Lou? I'm gonna give you the floor. How is LSU better than Alabama in any way in football? How?
All right, I'll answer it with one answer. Okay.
Yep.
You had to get our coach to become relevant again.
Had to get your coach.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Right there.
Okay. Thanks for the phone call, Lou.
Thanks Lou. You answered all my questions, brother. Thank you, bud. He went to Alabama because it's not LSU.
We had to get their coach.
Yeah, their coach. And that's exactly what I figured he would say. He outed himself perfectly.
By that mantra.
In other words, Alabama had no right to take that coach.
LSU had to get Michigan State's coach
to
become relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
Michigan State had to get the Cleveland Browns coach. I mean, it's a process.
Look, man, Nick, I'm just telling you right now, Les Miles don't win a national championship without Nick Saban's players that he left him, okay? If you just want to get that personal. I mean, Ed Ogeron, he caught lightning in a bottle. Congratulations to him. That was one of the great teams in history. Alabama flattened that ass after that, though.
Right.
But again, to try to say that he's LSU's, when he spent 17 years at Alabama, Alabama historically has always been better than LSU. And if Alabama does the right things, they will always be better than LSU. Why do you think LSU calls Alabama the evil empire? Why does everybody else? Because they all want to be Alabama, and they're not.
Look, there's no
Why are people rolling trees when Nick Saban retires?
There's no denying, though, that he started his run at LSU, but he finished it and accomplished way more at Alabama.
And see, Lou's just taking it personal right there, saying you took our coach, and then he's telling me that it can't be personal for me.
We didn't take their coach. Nick Saban left to go to the NFL.
Nick Saban left to go to the NFL. He could have come back to LSU a few times. You know why he didn't leave Alabama? Because it's the University of Alabama that he built.
All right, let's go to real fast. Let's go to Wolverine Dan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Wow, what a show. Drew, I can't disagree with anything you're saying. But let me say this, in my program, I'm very proud of it. Don't have as many national championships. The one thing I can say, we have the most victories, which is in NCAA football, which is wonderful. I know how you feel, Drew, and it is personal. And you know why I think it's personal? Because everybody that in your listening audience is going through the same thing your coach has. As you get older, you do lose your edge a little bit. And on top of that, Drew, you know as well as I do, not only sometimes you got a really crappy boss, but you got employees these days. This is why I left. I was at the top of my game, and I love what I did, even though it was just a mailman's job, but I was good at it, and I enjoyed my customers. But here's the problem, Drew, and I'm sure your coach felt the same way. There's people out there that, like, for instance, that I work with, wouldn't come into work, Drew, okay? And I'd have to work ungodly hours to cover this lazy bum that wouldn't come into work, and I missed all these hours with my family. Nick Saban needs to spend time with his family and forget about those people that don't come into work, that he's got to cover their butt. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. I've been in jobs too where I didn't enjoy coming to work. I understand what you're saying.
That's personal, Drew. That's what personal is. You're losing time with the ones you love because people can't come into work. It happens everywhere in the United States. It happens everywhere in the world. Okay, so yeah, it's personal. Is Bama fans passionate? Yes, they are. Okay, but Drew, there's a guy named Roll Tide Willie. Now that guy is a nut.
I don't know him, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but you're not. You don't have a beer in your hand. You're not half drunk on your ass talking about your team. You're giving us stats, facts, and you know what? You come across and you've got a wealth of knowledge that I appreciate, and that's why I listen to the show.
Yeah.
You and, of course, Scott, too. I love Scott also. But the thing is this, guys, bottom line, it is personal, and that's my angle on it because I think the man wants to walk away from all this crap sometimes, and it is crap at times. You know as well as I do being a head coach.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what it is. So everybody take a chill pill, okay? The man wants to spend time with his family and enjoy his life. And you know what? He's on the tail end of it just like I am, on the other side of the mountain looking down, okay? So bottom line is, if I'm rambling, I apologize. But that's what personal means to me.
Yep.
To you.
Well, and
thanks for the phone call, Wolverine.
And Dan, look, Dan got emotional the other day about his wife having LSU tickets to use with her dad before her dad passed away, and that was authentic. Okay, it's a personal experience. I just don't like somebody trying to tell me how I'm supposed to feel and then turn around and contradict himself and say, "Well, you took our coach." That was what the whole phone call was about. He was mad because I'm getting emotional about Nick Saban. He ain't never got over the fact that Nick Saban left and they didn't win as many championships they thought they were going to win. He got 3. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
They've been a great program. They just not Alabama. I'm sorry. Deal with it, brother.
We got to get a break in. It's 7:31. When we come back, we're going to stay on the phone lines and we're going to hear more from Nick Saban.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Once we're done talking about the threat of strong and severe thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley, we're just going to be talking about a windy afternoon across the area. Wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. We remain under a wind advisory until midnight on Saturday. Temperatures drop into the mid-upper 20s as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. A mostly sunny sky. Saturday afternoon, I've got a high temperature right around 44. We're dropping into the mid-20s as we head into the overnight, early Sunday morning. A partly sunny sky. Sunday afternoon, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 30s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Had a couple of reports this morning of trees down, but they've been in neighborhood areas where they will not cause a big problem for traffic. That can change, though, so you be careful, especially on those secondary roadways. Do you know who to call when you need a heart doctor? You could write this name down now so you have it in the future. Dr. Randall Burns is at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace. There they have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
The all-new Huntsville Boat Show returns to the Von Braun Center January 11th through the 14th, and I'll be broadcasting the Tom Abraham Show live from there at lunchtime on the 11th and 12th. The Huntsville Boat Show is an exciting time for all boat enthusiasts as it allows buyers to save thousands of dollars on the purchase of a new boat or just shop many brands for your future purchase. Plus, many other retailers will be on hand as well for all things water. So plan to be at the Huntsville Boat Show at the VBC January 11th through 14th. See you there.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Orthopedics. You're thinking bones, muscles, and joints, right? Well, what else comes to mind? Maybe your spine, therapy, or an arm cast? What about sports medicine? What do you think about when you hear that? Are you thinking about the largest orthopedic group in the state, caring for the most student athletes in North Alabama? Or about the fact that they are teamed up with the state's largest hospital-based sports medicine program to provide care to more schools in North Alabama than any other group? If you are, you have TOC Sports and Huntsville Hospital Sports Center on the brain. If you're not, you should, because Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports have partnered for more than 2 decades to establish a state-of-the-art team of certified athletic trainers and orthopedic specialists who successfully continue to meet and exceed the sports medicine needs of schools, athletes, coaches, and parents in our community. Committing to kids, committing to community, committing to care. That's Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports. The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Nick Saban sat down with Reese Davis yesterday, and Reese asked Coach Saban about stepping away with everything that's going on in the college game. NIL, transfer portal, everything. Here's Coach's response.
It did not have any effect on my decision. You know, I've always been one that no matter what's happened through the years, you know, whether they went no huddle and you had to adapt to it, they threw RPOs and you had to adapt to it. We had a changing environment in college football. You know, my thing was always don't complain about it. Try to figure out what the best solution is so that you can compete well in whatever the environment is. And that's always the approach that I've taken in the situation and circumstance that we're in. But I will be dedicated to college football and the future of college football, and trying to make that sport, as well as other sports in collegiate athletics, whether they're revenue producing or not, because I think they all create opportunities for lots of people. I'm going to be an advocate for trying to make the game as good as it can be. And I do think that, you know, there's probably more to come when it comes to this topic. From my standpoint, but for now, I'll answer your question and say that didn't have any impact on what I decided to do.
Interesting. And again, I've always said he adapted better than anyone. But again, it's about the time, the effort, the energy, and he's 72 years old. And like Wolverine Dan said, and I've said this, he deserved the opportunity to walk away when he wanted to, even if it was. And it wasn't just a split-second decision, but I don't think he was totally, ready. He wasn't sure, but then I think it did. It finally he just felt it.
And here is Coach talking about that decision and the timeline.
I think that my role was a little different this year. I was more involved with the defense, had to be more involved with the defense. That took a little more time, put a little more stress on me, made me feel like maybe I wasn't doing as good a job as I needed to in other parts of our team. And I just have a high standard for how I do things. And if I don't feel like I'm living up to that standard, I'm really disappointed.
Why do you think you weren't living up to the standard? I mean, you won the SEC, you went to the playoff, played
I know,
away
but
from the national championship game.
I know, but we didn't get in the national championship game, and I felt like if I could have done a better job, Michigan would have scored on the last drive to tie it up 20-20 and would have had a better play to run on 4th and 3 at the 3 to, have a chance to keep the overtime going. So I'm always more critical of myself than I ever am the people around me, because I think I can control and influence all those things. But I guess I wasn't disappointed in the season. I wasn't disappointed in the team. I wasn't disappointed in the players. In fact, this team was fun to coach. They came a long ways, and I was really proud, of the way everybody bought in and did what they did to have the success that we had. But at the same time, I felt like I could have done a better job if I was younger.
There you go. Just a
Great
little more
stuff
from Coach Saban.
Good stuff by Reese Davis, man.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Bama Bino is with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. God bless you guys. I want to second what Scott, you and Drew just said. And then before I get off, I want to don't let me get the conversation rolling to where we don't let me ask a question about Sarkisian. People don't realize that the reason, basically everything you said is the reason it's the way that is because it's in Alabama. For some people, it's not a option or sport. It's a semi-religion. It's a way of life, and that's why there's some people that's away from Alabama and other fan bases think that we take it personal. It's not that. It's because it is an emotional thing. You hit the nail on the head, Drew. And I back up what you said and exactly how you said it. That doesn't mean that there's not good people in other sports and other fan bases. I've got a lot of friends at LSU, Auburn, and all those. But that's kind of why we take it different. And my second point, do you think, Drew and Scott, that Sarkisian would leave Texas?
I do think if things aligned perfectly, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to get his extension done with Texas. I think his wife wants to stay in Austin, and just like Miss Terry wanted to leave Miami and come to Alabama. I think that was a big reason Nick Saban came to the Crimson Tide. She enjoyed the college environment. She did not enjoy the NFL. Sark, I know he loves Coach Saban, and I think Coach Saban loves Sark. They'd love to see him back, but he's at a great place with very deep pockets. And again, Sark has recently remarried the last couple years, and she really enjoys Austin. And unless some things, kind of don't work out with the administration, or I was told they were lowballing him. If they don't come up with and don't start playing ball, and Alabama came strong, then something could happen. But I think ultimately he's going to stay at Texas. But I do think, unlike I was wrong about, and I freely admit that, man, you got to wear it. I was wrong about Dan Lanning. I'm not wrong about Sark. He's in the middle of this, but I still don't expect him to be the coach. But we'll see. Things can change.
Are they working with him and trying to up the ante about what he
Well, I mean, they met with him a couple of days ago. Okay, I believe that strongly. I believe that there's been guys that they have vetted, and I believe that they vetted Steve Sarkisian.
So they've offered him, and Alabama's offered it to him, but you just don't know whether.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say they've offered it to him.
I'm not going to phrase it like that. I'm just going to say he's heavily in the mix.
Right. It may have gone like
because
hey.
Dan Lanning never got offered the job, even though that there was false reports that ended up being inaccurate that he was in Tuscaloosa, but he was never. I had him in the top 4 that I mentioned earlier in the show, but he was never offered the job.
And when we say vetted, it's kind of like, hey, let's reach out to the agent and say, do you think he might be interested in this job, or is it worth pursuing?
They want to see how serious a guy is about if he wants to talk.
Okay. I just would be real comfortable with him, but I'm not the only fan. So Well, where do you think that it's leaning right now?
Kalen DeBoer.
Which is Washington's coach.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, but I just mainly wanted to back you guys up on that. It's not that we think we're better than everyone. It's none of that. It's just it's a religion, and nothing taken away from real religion, but it's a quasi-religion to us. It's a way of life. It's not a alternative sport or a hobby. It's when you're born, you choose whether you want to or not. You're Alabama or Auburn, but you doesn't mean you don't respect the other school. But I'll leave you with that, and thanks so much for having such a great network and the information available, and y'all are great at what you do.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Bambino. All right, 7:45. Let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll go back to the phone lines. By the way, Jimmy Sexton was in Tuscaloosa yesterday.
By lunchtime.
At the Malmore facility.
And guess whose agent Jimmy Sexton is?
Kalen DeBoer.
Since a year ago. And who else?
Pretty much everybody in college football.
Steve Sarkisian.
There you go. He is the most powerful man in college football, is Jimmy Sexton. And he's not even out of school. Let's get a break in. When we come back, more phone calls.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning. Still working with a clean slate this morning. No wrecks, no stalls, no traffic signal problems to report. Streets are wet, though. You be careful. You get 2 pieces of hand-breaded, juicy, tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes, University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff, and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor at Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
It's official. 47 years in a row, Ford F-150 is the best-selling truck in America. Come drive one, and you'll see why. Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to kickstart the new year in a brand-new F-150. Choose from nearly 200 F-150s, and we think you'll find just the right one. Right now, we have financing as low as 2.9% for up to 72 months on 2023 F-150s, and lease payments as low as $389 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $62.82 due at signing, zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. This offer ends January 31st. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, we have nearly 50 2023 Explorers for you to choose from, too, with financing as low as 0.9% for up to 60 months. Plus, check out our over 40 24 Bronco Sports and a fresh truckload of the full-size Broncos that have just hit the ground. Come on over and let's get the new year rolling. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan at Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
There you are. Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN. The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. We're going to fly through these phone calls here because we're going to try to get them all in before the top of the hour. Let's go out to Brandon first. Good morning, Brandon.
What's up?
Morning. It's highly personal. Like I told y'all the other day, we didn't speak for 3 days after Dale Earnhardt died. There are some things that are just inherent to you that you can't explain it out loud, but Saban was just a standard and something that you counted on. And now that he's gone, you know the greatness is gone, and it's just hard to let go of.
Agreed.
I listened to that Reese Davis interview, and he's talking about what he had to do with the defense.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like it was a Tosh LaPoy all over again.
I wouldn't go that far. I'll just say that.
I just wonder the last 3 years how much, like Wolverine Dan was talking about, how much everybody else's job has he had to do? I wonder how much that run him in the ground.
Well, I mean, okay. I think we got to be careful, though, when we're saying doing somebody else's job. Nick Saban likes to be hands-on, right, Drew? I mean,
yeah.
Are we talking about coaches not doing their job, or are we talking about Nick Saban wanting a certain type of perfection and he had to be more hands-on? I mean, are we really saying that the Alabama coaches were not doing their job and Nick Saban had to step in?
Well,
I wonder.
Well, I think it was more what he had to fix after Wild Turkey left, with the help of course, a guy he trusted in Kevin Steele, and T-Rob being in his first, go around at Alabama, and and they were also, even though the systems are similar under, of course, Will Muschamp. Again, every coach runs their program a little differently. And I just think Nick Saban, he knew that the defense needed to be fixed because the defense, the previous from, starting in 18, 19, even 20 when they won it all, Scott, and then 21 and 22, for 5 years, the defense wasn't as good as it had been. So he knew that it needed to be fixed.
I kind of feel like the quality of assistants we've had.
And then the D-line coach stinks. That was another thing that had to be worked on.
I think he's had to work with assistants that he didn't think was as good as what he wanted, but he stuck with Pete Golden because he got tired of changing defensive coordinators every single year.
He thought he could develop them. Yeah,
it was just a failed experiment.
Right.
So I feel like him having to do more heavy lifting without as good of assistants kind of led to this, and it was because of the revolving door of everybody using him as a diving board to take off with their career. They want him to guarantee he's going to stay 3 to 5 years, but they ain't going to guarantee you they're going to stay but 1. So kind of feel like a lot of that led to it. And on a funny note, Kim Mulkey popped off last night talking about when was the last time you saw women's basketball on a beer can. Is LSU Lou going to have a closet full of them because she's telling people to buy them? Roll Tide.
Thanks, Brandon. All right, let's stay on the phone lines. Brandon is with us again. Different Brandon. Good morning, Brandon.
Hey.
What's going on, Brandon?
Sure.
Do we got you?
What's up, man?
All right, Brandon 2 is kind of breaking up there. All right, go, Brandon. All right, Brandon, we got you.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hey, Scott. Hey, Drew. Good morning, guys.
Morning, sir.
Man, I've been listening to y'all for a long time, and I enjoy the show. I've never called in before, but these are unprecedented times.
Yes, sir.
Man, I just wanted to say publicly, man, I'm so thankful to have been a part of this era. I've got so many wonderful memories of even like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Every time the game was over and Alabama would win, me and the kids, we'd run to the front door and open the door and just holler Roll Tide. And, I got to go to, first time I've ever been, I got to go to an Alabama game this year. I went to see the Ole Miss game, and what an experience that was, and the memories. But I just want to address this LSU who idiot that called in. Man, what damn right does he have to tell us not to be emotional and not to take it personal? Man, this is Nick Saban is the greatest that's ever done it, and the numbers and the championships don't lie. But what he's done that has touched so many lives through the years, after the tornadoes and all the things with the children. I mean, Nick and Terry are not. He's not just the greatest coach, but he's just a great man, and Miss Terry a great woman. They've done so much, and for us to not take it personal and not feel emotional, I mean, it would be just stupid. And that idiot that called in, man, I just don't even understand. And like the haters, I've seen a lot on social media, people posting against Nick Saban. I understand the haters hating Alabama, but I do not understand how people can disrespect the GOAT. I just don't. But I just wanted to call in and say how grateful I am that I've got to experience this with you guys and be a part of this era, and for Nick to go out on top and to go out the way he is, even though they didn't win the championship this year in the revenge tour. I mean, we whooped and curb stomped Tennessee and LSU to the side, and we kept Georgia from three-peating, took the SEC championship from them. I mean, start out kind of rough and then to turn into the team that they did. What a season it's been. Roll Tide, man. I just want to say Roll Tide and thank Nick and Miss Terry.
Thanks for the phone call, Brandon. Let's squeeze in Pat from T-Town real fast before the break. Good morning, Pat.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, what I called about this morning is that Lane is the only logical choice, and let me explain my reasoning real quick. That if we get Lane, all of his new portal additions all go back into the portal for 30 days. And Walter Nolan is in that number. And
how good is Walter Nolan, Pat?
Sir?
How good is Walter Nolan? Is he first-team All-SEC?
Walter Nolan is good enough with Lane and the pieces that we've got in order to get us to the mountaintop.
Well,
one more year.
It's not going to be Lane Kiffin.
I'm sorry, but look, you can't fix a team by recruiting everybody through the transfer portal.
No, it doesn't work.
I know we haven't seen long-term results on that,
yeah,
but I have a feeling it's not going to work.
And Walter Nolan's overrated. Just saying. I don't care what he was rated coming out of the portal. He's never been a first-team All-SEC type guy. He was 5-star coming out of high school, but you know how a car depreciates as soon as you drive it off to the lot? So does a 5-star rating.
All right.
I mean, outside of – okay, Pat, so if Lane Kiffin is your guy, why is Lane Kiffin your guy other than what he's done in the transfer portal? What has he done win-loss record that impresses you so much?
What he's done at Ole Miss to win 11 ball games this past year at Ole Miss is absolutely incredible. He won 10 ball games last year. Year before last, absolutely incredible.
What did Kalen DeBoer do at Washington? He won 21 in a row. He played for the national championship.
Well,
he's 104 and 12.
Well,
is Lane Kiffin 104 and 12?
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin's never beaten Nick Saban because as soon as he sees him, he has to go to the bathroom.
All right, Pat. Thanks for the phone call.
Have a great one, guys.
All right. I mean, that's the thing, though. People are going to have their choice for coach.
Yep.
They're going to have their reason. They're going to have it, and some of them are logical and some of them are not. I'm not saying Pat's is not. I'm just saying that some are logical and some are not. All right, John Shulman. He is the head coach at UAH. He'll join us next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the GBank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.bank/VSiN.
NFL wildcard tomorrow. The Texans and Browns square off in Houston. Houston 10-7 overall, 6-3 at home. The Browns 11-6 on the season, 3-5 away from home. It's the second time in a month that the teams have battled. The Browns beat the Texans 36-22 on Christmas Eve. Joe Flacco had 368 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in that one. Cleveland's now a 2.5-point favorite. Houston plus 115 on the money line. The over/under 44.5. The Chiefs host the Dolphins at Arrowhead. Both teams are 11-6. Miami 4-4 away from home. The Chiefs 5-4 at home. The Chiefs are now a 4.5-point favorite after opening at 1.5. Miami plus 192. The over/under 43.5. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you are. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you on a Friday morning. A windy, rainy, yet again day here in the Tennessee Valley. Stay weather aware. I know there's no school around the area today, so everyone stay weather aware. Last night inside Spraggins Hall, the UAH Chargers
were aware.
Back. Yes, they were aware. They were awake, and they got back to the W column as they knock off Valdosta State last night at home in front of the home crowd, which is something that we have not had a chance to do a lot of. 85-59 the final, and they'll be back in action tomorrow. West Florida, the men will play at 4, the women will play at 2.
Yes, they will, and they were victorious. As you said, they bounced back from a tough road trip at Union. But champions bounce back. They're now 9-2 in the Gulf South Conference as they get the 85-59 win over a very talented Valdosta State team. And we always enjoy our weekly visits with Coach John Schulman, who has kindly joined us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, good morning and congratulations, sir.
I appreciate it. I was supposed to be on yesterday. What happened? Did something happen in the world of sports that I got bumped?
The only reason why.
Only Nick Saban could bump you, Coach.
Yeah, only Nick Saban.
Hey, I was screwed over for him. The biggest thing I want to say about that is that how fortunate are we all to have kind of lived through this era of Nick Saban. I mean, I learned so much and got a chance to meet him last summer and just, in awe of what he did down there. And so, I kind of caught the end of, I remember being a little kid and Bear Bryant was coaching and being a little kid and not really understanding. But so we got a chance to experience greatness. So we appreciate what Coach Saban did, not just for Alabama football, but for coaching in general.
And I wanted to ask you something, since you said you had a chance to be around him. Coaches always take things from other – it's not just basketball coaches, which is a brotherhood, but coaching is a brotherhood. What have you ever taken anything from someone from another sport like a football coach and used it in your program?
No, absolutely. You can learn from anybody. I mean, not just coaches. You can learn from leaders in the business world. I eat breakfast with General Valesky, a retired general here in Huntsville. I learned so much from that guy. It's a joke. I mean, if you'll just open up your ears and open up your heart and open up your eyes, you can learn from everybody and anybody. But we went down, took our staff down, and we watched Alabama football practice. Jeff Allen, the trainer down there, was with me at Chattanooga. So I'm fortunate enough to have a little bit of an inside track. We can get in there and watch football practice and see how those guys work. And, the thing about Coach Saban, he wasn't like a CFO or of a football pro. He was coaching the D-backs, walking through stuff early, and you could see the passion. He's going to have a tough time staying out of it because a coach is a coach, and it's not a job for coaches.
It's a
If
calling.
You're truly a coach. It's a calling, and he will have a tough time staying out of it, I think. This other stuff. We're losing some great ones now. Jay Wright, Coach Cade, Roy Williams, Nick Saban. We're losing
Jim
some
Boeheim.
great ones.
Yeah.
Because of the new rules, we're losing some great ones because, us old guys aren't used to what's going on now. And all these new guys coming on, all these young guys I talked to Ryan Pannone at Alabama, assistant at Alabama basketball, and he was like, listen, I've been a pro coach. I'm used to the NIL. I'm used to paying guys. You know what? That's no different. So there's a new crew coming up, but it's just different for us old guys having to deal with some of the stuff we all have to deal with.
And I have a feeling we're going to lose a lot more before it's all said and done.
Well, it just depends on where this thing goes. I don't know if it's I don't know if paying kids $3 million to play the quarterback at the University of Georgia is doable for 10 years in a row. I don't know. I don't think it is, but maybe it is. And so, there needs to be a little reform. Everybody's got some really neat ideas. I don't have a problem paying these guys, on that level. But I think it needs to be kind of uniform and paying everybody the same amount, and maybe not from the school and from the boosters. And then everybody's back to being fair and equal again. And then if you work, normally if you work really hard recruiting and you got the player. If you out recruited somebody, you got the player. Well, you can flip a guy in football and you've never talked to him because you offered $200,000 more in the 11th hour, and it's over. That's not what this thing is supposed to be about. I'll shut up now and talk about basketball.
I totally agree with that, Coach. That there's got to be some guardrails. I completely agree. One of the first speeches I ever did where I finally could stand up in front of people in junior college at Calhoun was about paying players a stipend. But I agree that I've always been in favor of it. But there's got to be some guardrails. There's got to be some kind of cap, and because if you give an inch, people take a mile. And I never thought I would see college kids making millions, but it didn't take long, no question. But your team did respond. What did you like most about the performance last night after a disappointing result against Union on the road?
Well, first of all, winning on the road winning on the road in college basketball is very difficult. As not just for us, but you got Purdue going down, Houston, Tennessee and Kansas going down, 4 of the top 5 teams in the country going down on the road. I think Gonzaga got beat late last night on the road.
Santa Clara.
It's hard to win on the road. We had won 9 straight road games.
Amazing.
We had won 5 straight this year, and we're 5-0 on the road. And we were kind of disappointed in a win at CBU on Saturday, and then CBU goes up here and beats Lee last night at Lee. But we got our tail ends whipped on Monday. We still had a chance to tie the game with 10 seconds to go, but what do you do with that loss? Do you learn from it? Do you talk about it, pout about it? We learned from it. We had a really good day of practice on Wednesday, tweaked our lineup a little bit, and just, had frank discussions, honest discussions with our team on where we were. And we came out with unbelievable energy last night. And one of those kind of tweaks was a kid you all know is Alston Leslie, trying to get him on the floor more. But what he did in the first half last night on the rim was a joke. I mean, it was, it was a top 10 play, ESPN Sports Center top 10 play, but he gave us energy. And, very unique about him is our kids adore him and love him, and they will play hard for him. And all of a sudden, became Wednesday, because we moved Alston's positions and guys had to help him get comfortable. We became a player-led team again, accidentally. And that was fun to watch on Wednesday. and that was a lot of fun to watch last night. And let's see if we can't kind of carry some momentum. Last night was as good as we played this year, and that's what you want. You want to be, starting to gather some momentum right now, and I think we did last night.
When you say move positions for Austin, you moved him to the 4 spot. How difficult is that, and how much of a learning curve is that, just moving maybe one spot on the court?
Well, here's the deal. Like the point position's its own position. The 2 and the 3 are interchangeable. All right, either wing, that's interchangeable. The 4 is a little different, and the 5 is a little different. So the 4 is a lot different. Austin was playing the 2 and the 3, and the 4 is different. And so he picked up an awful lot, and the guys did a great job, and our assistant coaches did a great job getting him ready to play last night. And he'll just grow from here. But, we had played half a season. We had played 14 games, and we weren't getting what we wanted out of that position. And so we tried to figure it out, make some changes, and Austin was the obvious one, and it allowed him to get on the court more, and which we've been looking to do, but he was kind of stuck behind Tommy and Luke. And now for the first time last night, we kind of had a good kind of substitution rotation, and it's not easy. It's not easy making those decisions because you're affecting kids and playing time and this and that. But, that's what you have to do as the head coach, and it's not always fun, but we liked – and it may not work, but it worked last night. We had a good time.
Well, Coach, I wanted – Scott gave me this tidbit, and because, again, the last time I saw you guys play live, I got banned. I think we all understand that. Yeah, but I've been listening too. But he's been telling me, and you give us good tidbits because we listen closely. And you talked about your son Max being a great leader last year, and now he's on the coaching staff. But you were talking about early this team needing to find leadership player wise. Tell me about Jack Costle and how he's taking control of this team, from what I'm hearing.
Well, he takes things. Listen, 2 years ago, Drew, I wanted to kick Costle off the team and kick him out of the state of Alabama and send him back to Georgia. And what he's done, how he's grown into this role is amazing to me, because most kids, if I'm on them like that, are headed back to Georgia. All right. And he didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He fought through adversity and fought through some tough times. And it's amazing. Listen, there was no one more distraught on Monday night, probably besides Washington's football team, but than Jack Costle. We fought through. We were down 10 with 1:30 to go, and Jack ends up with the ball in his hands with a wide slap open 3 with 10 seconds to go to tie the game, and misses it and didn't play great. And he takes responsibility for our team, and it's fun to watch. And if you don't have a player-led team, you're only going to be so good. It was interesting last night, Drew, and I'll give you some insight to our locker room after the game. I mean, Austin hadn't been playing a whole lot, and he hasn't whined and complained and pouted. He's just come to practice every day and worked, and he had a really special night last night, and so everybody's pumping up Austin. And Costle raised his hand. He said, "Guys," he said, Costle talked to the guys that didn't play last night that have been playing, Isaac Chapman and Matt Thurman. And he was like, "You two guys, hang in there. You never know what's going to happen." I had to switch positions. I was put on the bench, and now look at me now. That's what leaders do. That's what guys do, and I'm really proud of them, and I'm proud of our basketball team. But we just got to keep growing. We didn't win a championship last night by any means.
No, but you did build a little momentum. And
absolutely.
You're back at home on Saturday, and now you got to carry that momentum over to West Florida.
Well, we got to carry it to today. We got film at noon. We're trying to stay out of the weather, bad weather, but we got film at noon, and we'll practice from about 1 to about 2, and then we'll be in the weight room after that. Then we'll watch a little bit more film on West Florida. And we got, Luke had an IV yesterday at 3:30 because he's got the flu. Dodd looks horrible, and he's starting to play much better, but he's had the flu. Nyland, I haven't seen Nyland since he left in an ambulance on Monday night in Jackson, Tennessee, going to the hospital. I haven't seen Nyland because he's had the flu. It's been, but it's just part of it. It's just part of this time of the year and part of the grind. And you never know who's going to step up. And I'm really proud of Austin. I was proud of my middle child last night. I thought Tanner really did a nice job. His minutes are going to change now that Austin's out of that spot. So he is. Sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes you need a ball mover. You need a ball mover out there instead of 5 guys who can score it and who want to score it. You need somebody who will move that ball so the other guys can score it. And Tanner went 3 for 5 from 3 last night and played pretty good on both ends of the court. And so we got some momentum. We just got to carry it to today. They got to keep on choosing to be great.
4 o'clock Saturday at Kelly Courts, inside Spraggins Hall, as the Argonauts of West Florida come to town. But Coach, I've got one more question for you. With your youngest child, JC.
Does it have anything to do with Saban? Does it have
no, sir.
Saban?
I wanted to know who taught JC how to shoot an 80-footer. Was that you?
Listen, the talent oozing off of me and my body is just incredible. Listen, here's the deal for all you single people out there. You better marry well. All right, and I'm married well. People, y'all don't know this, but Amy Schulman was freshman of the year in the OVC and then transferred to East Tennessee State. She was player of the year in the Southern Conference. She shot at the three-point competition at the Final Four in New York City. I put a ring on her finger so she wouldn't marry Dante Calabria or Steve Nash, who shot with her in that competition. Listen, it has nothing to do with me.
Well, it was a great shot, and it was a great win for UAH.
It was a huge shot.
And we're looking forward to the game on Saturday afternoon. Everybody, hope the weather's going to get out of here. Go support the Chargers. Coach, we always appreciate the time and the candor, sir.
Yes.
Well, we'd love to have everybody there tomorrow except
for Drew.
Except Drew. Drew, you listen to it. You watch it, listen to it, do whatever. Everybody else is welcome. Remember, Phil Bentley and Bentley Automotive, free admission upstairs. Come on, come join us tomorrow at 4. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, take care.
That was a wide-ranging interview.
Yeah, of course, that interview, though, always brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They are the official training providers for UAH. They invite you to give them a call, 256-881-5151. Experience the SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. And Peter Burns putting this out, actually, 93.3 KJR, a radio station in Seattle, put this out just a few seconds ago. They were supposed to wake up this morning and have Kalen DeBoer on their radio show this morning. That interview has been canceled. Kalen DeBoer is not going to be on the radio show. Read into it as much as you want. I don't know what it means. I'm just saying that Kalen DeBoer has canceled an interview with a radio station in Seattle this morning. That's all. Let's go to break.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck at 31 in Hobbs in Athens. Apparently it's going to be a no entry. 72 in 7 Mile Post in Limestone County. Haven't heard an update on that one. There may be an injury there. Patterson Lane east of Pulaski Pike had a vehicle hit a utility pole. We got injuries reported. Also got lines down there. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Eck in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopé. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison. There's nothing better than a perfect cookie loaded with the finest all-natural premium ingredients. And you'll find these perfect cookies baked fresh every day at Cookie Fix. Choose from rotating flavors like classic chocolate chip, cranberry jumble, oatmeal toffee, and many others. Or take home one of their dough-to-go selections and bake them fresh at home. Cookie Fix also has cookie cakes for special celebrations, and they offer catering and shipping. Find out more and order online at cookiefix.com. In Twickenham Square, 300 Pelham Avenue. Cookie Fix. Grab some cookies and spread some smiles.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Remember what Brian said.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And again, as we went to break there, we have learned that Kalen DeBoer, the Washington head coach, has canceled his 8 a.m. Pacific time interview.
10 a.m. our time.
Yep, on a Seattle sports radio show. This is a weekly segment that Kalen DeBoer does. This is not something that was a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was a weekly segment that Kalen DeBoer has canceled. Now, does it mean that Alabama has zeroed in on Kalen DeBoer and that he will be the next head coach? No, it does not mean that. It just means that the guy that we believe to be at the center of the interest for Alabama is not doing an interview at 8 o'clock a.m. his time. So we will figure out more as it becomes available. Pausing the Alabama talk for a minute, Auburn in the news, because Hugh Freeze continues to reshape his coaching staff.
Yes, he does.
And here is the thing. Hugh Freeze walked into a situation at Auburn that was very different and unique. I say that because Carnell Williams excited the fan base at Auburn. He held it together when Brian Harsin was fired. He put a little energy back into the fan base. Carnell Williams had to be on the staff this year for Auburn. Had to be on the staff. Had to be.
Mm-hmm.
Carnell Williams will not be on the staff next year for Auburn.
He will not. And Brian Matthews kind of hinted at that, that Carnell Williams may be looking at some other opportunities. It looks like he is going to, and I think Brian even mentioned the NFL. Now Zach Etheridge, another former Auburn player who I believe they hired from Houston, is going back to Houston. He's got some ties there, knows the university well, recruited well there, did a nice job, and he's going to be on Willie Fritz's first staff at Houston. So a lot of that staff, that the first-year staff that Hugh Freeze put together, is now gone. Both coordinators, we talked about that. Zach Etheridge, and the crime dog, Wesley McGriff, both the secondary coaches are gone. So, and Ron Roberts also coached the linebacker. So there's going to be a lot of new blood on that defensive staff. And then we'll see if Derek Nix is ultimately named the OC. And we know that Hugh Freeze is going to go back to the play calling. No question about that.
All right, 256-576-4977. There is time for you to join the program and the show this morning if you want to weigh in on anything that you have heard this morning. Real quickly, other housekeeping news and notes. I read Josh Pate's comments on this, and his exact words were, "This has got to be a joke." The NCAA is going to levy significant penalties on Florida State for NIL-related violations. They are going to, it centers around offensive coordinator Alex Atkins. He committed 2 Level 2 violations and will serve a 3-game suspension to start the 24 season, a 2-year show cause from the NCAA as a part of the sanctions, which were negotiated between the school and the NCAA. So he's accused of driving a transfer portal recruit and his parents to a meeting with Rising Spear, the collective of Florida State, to meet with the collective's CEO. Atkins did not stay for the meeting. The recruit was allegedly offered a deal worth $15,000 per month during his first year with the university. That is why he is getting suspended.
Like there's not others doing this.
Because he drove a recruit to meet with the collective. Oh boy.
Why you need guardrails?
256-576-4977. Short time for you to join the show this morning. Coming up here in just a little bit, Ryan Fowler will join the show as we get his thoughts from Tuscaloosa. Do you think he dropped any oatmeal cream pies off at the statue?
We got to ask that. We got to ask if he tried to pull the thing we would have done, because I told everybody yesterday our plan would have been to get a Ziploc bag, empty all the pies into the bag, leave the boxes, and then take the pies home. Because we're not leaving the pies in the rain.
Maybe he left the bag of ice.
Yeah, we could ask him that.
All right, Philip is with us this morning. Good morning, Philip.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing this morning?
Good, Philip. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm still trying to get over the shock of Coach Saban retiring, but you know what? I wish the man all the happiness in the world.
Absolutely.
He deserves it, I think we all knew that it was coming sooner or later,
Yeah, again, nobody coaches forever. And it's an emotional time. It was emotional when Coach Bryant retired and then passed away. I'm sure LSU loser would have told us that we shouldn't be emotional and be crying when Coach Bryant passed away either. But again, that's just part of people when they have PTSD when their team gets beat by Alabama so many times that it drives them insane.
Well, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I've noticed that, in maybe the last few games, I think like in the SEC championship and then the playoff, I can tell that Coach Saban was really tired.
Yeah.
I could tell that, just by looking at him on the sideline, I can just tell he was really tired,
Go back to the beginning of the year, Drew, when that's a UAH basketball slip right there. I'm still stuck in that mode. Nick Saban, Miss Terry had to get on Nick Saban for not being vocal, intense enough on the sidelines.
She wanted him to raise
hell. Yeah, she wanted him to raise a little cane on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe eat another oatmeal pie.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I wanted to ask you guys, are they going to probably interview Lane Kiffin for the job?
No.
You don't think they will?
No.
Well, I know that Bama could pay Lane a lot more than Ole Miss can.
I'm just going to ask you, Philip. I'm going to ask what I've asked everybody. Scott asked the question: Why should Lane Kiffin be the coach?
Well, I don't know. I think he'd probably be the best candidate for the job. I know he hadn't won a national championship, or played for one, but I think eventually, he could probably coach a team maybe to get there.
If Lane Kiffin,
he's still a young guy.
If Lane Kiffin had not been on Alabama's staff, would you want Lane Kiffin as your head coach?
That's kind of a hard question to answer.
I think we already know the answer.
I know when he first came in, I was kind of nervous about Saban hiring him as an offensive coordinator, about all the shit he's done at Tennessee and everything, But, I kind of settled in, and I was kind of glad he was our offensive coordinator later on. I know I sure in hell don't want Dabo Swinney for our coach.
No, it's not going to be Dabo.
It's not going to be Dabo.
It's 5 years too late, bud.
Yep.
And Drew, I know you don't want Urban Liar down there either, do you?
No, I do not. No. I do not. I wouldn't want Lane Kiffin because I don't want the death penalty or attention deficit disorder. But I'm just saying that Lane Kiffin is the only assistant Nick Saban ever fired before the end of his season, and he did not resign. He was fired, and he hired Steve Sarkisian to replace him. Steve Sarkisian is in the mix. Lane Kiffin is not.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're going to have a chance of getting Sark down there because really,
I don't think so. But we'll see.
Whatever Alabama offers him to come be the coach, Texas is going to double it and offer him more to stay. You know what? Sark's going to want to want the job to be able to leave Texas.
Yeah. Well, and I think right now, and this is just my opinion, I think Alabama is making Kalen DeBoer say no at Washington. Yeah. That's what I think. I think they're making DeBoer say no.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a long, drawn-out search, for who.
I don't think so. I think
it'll be
we'll
decided
have the answer by
today.
tomorrow. Yeah, if not by the end of the day,
today.
If not by tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah. All right,
Thank
guys.
you, Philip.
Well,
thanks.
Y'all.
Yep.
In the words of our illustrious producer, Ray, he didn't mean to.
Yeah.
He didn't mean to say that word.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't mean to say the S word. Yeah. Did you catch it? Okay. We got to get a break in because when we come back, Ryan Fowler's going to join us. Did he leave the ice or the oatmeal cream pies?
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Once we're done talking about the threat of strong and severe thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley, we're just going to be talking about a windy afternoon across the area. Wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. We remain under a wind advisory until midnight on Saturday. Temperatures drop into the mid-upper 20s as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. A mostly sunny sky. Saturday afternoon, I've got a high temperature right around 44. We're dropping into the mid-20s as we head into the overnight, early Sunday morning. A partly sunny sky. Sunday afternoon, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 30s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Working on a wreck in Athens, 31 in Hobbs. Sounds like a no injury. 72 in 7 Mile Post. I never heard an update on injuries there, but there may be blockage. Patterson east of Pulaski Pike. That one had a down utility pole with wires on the ground. May have some injury in the vehicle. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is "We show up." Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
What's happening? What's happening?
What's happening is it's 8:35 on a Friday morning, and the rain is hitting the roof.
And Scott looks like Bill Belichick.
All of a sudden, I don't know, it felt comfortable. It has been a rough morning for me. I don't know why. I do know why, because of everything that's going on. The sinuses are draining, and it's just sounding like.
Yes, I just wanted to tell you, one of our listeners did text in early, and he said, "Excuse me, is Jeff from the Borough hosting the show?" And at first, I didn't catch it.
Oh my God! Oh my God! I sound like Jeff from the Borough. Kill me now.
Well, our next guest, he's the host of the game on Tiger 109 in Tuscaloosa. He has had the crud and gotten over it, and he knows who Jeff from the Borough is. And we're talking to him right now because Nick Saban retired. I think he took calls for almost as long as Tony Basilio earlier this week.
I have a question, though, Ryan. Did you leave the bag of ice in front of Nick Saban's statue?
We're wondering.
Yep.
No, I haven't heard about the ice. And I don't know who was the other guy that you guys were mentioning a while ago.
He knows.
You said he knows who that is. I don't know who that is.
You don't know Jeff from the Borough?
No.
I thought Jeff's called.
Okay,
your show.
I guess he just calls Gary's show and the other shows. I thought he called your show too.
Okay.
I thought you knew who Jeff from the Borough was.
Consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, Scott was just called Jeff from the Borough.
We don't allow idiots to call. So
Okay. Well, we've had
apparently today we've had a lot.
Yeah,
of them.
Today, man, we've had some people getting in the sauce.
Well, just listen. Ask this early in the morning. Is it with that bad for Alabama? But just ask Steve to go another hour. I think you guys should go another hour.
Well, how long how long was your marathon that day? I listened to when you and John McClain were on, and you had to basically halt a Hall of Famer, and I love John McClain too. He's one of the nicest guys in the business. For someone to know as much football as John McClain does and be so humble, and you had to stop an interview with John McClain.
I did. At 4:03, when that news came down from Nick Saban, I stopped him, and it's one of those that these kids that sign up, living in their mom's basement, lifelong gamers, and I hope that they slide through a slide of razor blades and a pool of alcohol with all these fake accounts, okay? Because they create so many fake accounts, and I mean they're almost identical. Nowadays they'll get verified, right? They'll pay the $8 and get verified, and I thought for just a couple of minutes this was one of those hack jobs, right? I thought somebody had created something, and here it is, right? And so I wanted to see it again on my desktop, so I logged onto the Twitter side of things, and that was the pause for about 5 seconds. I wanted to double check, and then at that point, we knew that it would probably come down via Chris Lowe at some point. I just didn't expect January the 10th, 2024 to be that day. But it was, and it was crazy. But we went all the way until 8 o'clock. But I went from 4 to 8 with only one break.
Wow. That's a Tony Basilio if I ever heard it.
Yeah, I mean, we were I thought about trying to get me like a catheter or urinal or something to come in because I was literally floating. I was like, guys, I got to get to the bathroom. You got to play something, whether it's an audio clip or something. I've got to go to the bathroom and get a little bit of water. I did, and what a day. And I no doubt, I'm sure you guys want to talk about what's next, but what is next?
Well, okay, so there was I don't know, it's not really a question, but it was approached this morning on the show that Alabama fans or Alabama people or Alabama football followers should not take this personally,
right,
that Nick Saban is retiring.
What was okay?
Shouldn't be upset. Shouldn't be emotional about it.
Because we were told by an LSU fan that Alabama supporters and people around the state should not be crying. They're acting like that he has passed away.
Yeah.
Alabama fans.
They took LSU's coach.
Yeah, but then he contradicted himself and said, "But you took our coach." He said, "Al."
Well, but the thing is when you look at these coaches, these fan bases, they need to get on their hands and knees, and they need to thank Nick Saban because he not only improved Alabama, he made a lot of these other SEC schools improve their facilities. I mean, think about Auburn just for a couple of minutes. They just opened up a football building, right? I think they were one of the very few schools in the SEC that didn't have their own football building. That's a credit to Nick Saban because you either built one or you got left behind. Now, they got left way behind. But look at Florida building an indoor practice facility, Georgia building an indoor practice facility, LSU making significant facility improving. Think about what Nick Saban did for Alabama, but think about what he did for all these other schools. He did a lot of fundraising. He got a lot of coaches paid.
Oh, Lord.
Because every time Nick Saban would try to go get an assistant coach, somebody would get paid. Multiple people would get paid.
SEC Network was created because of him.
Sure. So when you think about Nick Saban for a couple of minutes, his lasting impact on the game. So if somebody wants to criticize you for being upset, shoot, I'll play that game. I'm upset that they're upset that I'm upset. Just morons. I've realized in the last 48 hours that I hate coaches searches because it kind of brings out the worst.
Yeah, it does.
People. Yeah. It really does because it's almost like this reporter is trying. Go back to Greg Byrne. I love the statement. He said, "If you don't hear it from me," what does he say right here? "There will be plenty of rumors out there during this process. Next time I talk to you publicly, it will be announced our new coach. If you don't hear it from me, don't believe it." We have to take the man for his word, right? He runs a tight ship when you talk about coaching process. And I get it. It's our job to fill the void, right? And we try to do that. And we discuss, I've asked the fans, hey, who would be a guy that you'd be pleased with? Who would be a guy that you would accept? When you back up and you begin to kind of think about this, there's a lot of good names out there. But the one out in Seattle, guys,
yep,
seems to be growing a lot of steam. And, it's one of those that I was talking with my contacts out of Washington. I got a phone call yesterday at lunch, and I just kept getting a phone call, like over and over and over. Dave Mahler, which is a friend of mine, KJR out in Seattle, probably one of the top local radio hosts in the country, but out there he's number one. He said, "What are you hearing?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I'd heard the name Kalen DeBoer, but I didn't think that was a big name on the list. And he said, "Guys, we're very nervous out here. There's a contract on the table that he's refused to sign. Something's going down." And I went, "Really? What else can you add?" And he said, do some digging. So I did and tried to see if, that was a possibility. And, it seems like that there was somebody from Alabama out there. Don't know exactly who, but somebody was out there, whether it was trying to get more information, from the athletic department, or maybe it was to meet. Maybe it was to there. But they began to and so Dave sent me another message and said, hey, we've got him confirmed for tomorrow morning. Well, then late last night, he sent me another message and said it has been canceled. And they talked with him via text message early afternoon yesterday, and he was still coming on. So something went down in, about a 10 to 12-hour period.
Right.
And this interview was canceled late last night, and I know they just put up that announcement this morning because everybody was fixing to tune in. But I think that's significant. Not saying that he's going to be the guy.
No.
But if you're asking me for a front runner, I would probably, I'd put my money there. Not saying that I have any sources, but just kind of reading some of the tea leaves.
Well,
that seems to be the front runner at this point. But I still think there could be another surprise out there too.
If you connect the dots, Jimmy Sexton in the office yesterday, who represents Kalen DeBoer, who represents Mike Norvell, who represents Steve Sarkisian. I mean, it's going to be probably one of those guys. It's going to be a Jimmy Sexton guy. You throw in the fact that Kalen DeBoer cancels an interview. I mean, if you start connecting the dots, I mean, you can almost convince yourself that that's who it is. But your feeling, do you agree? I mean, we think here that this will either be done this afternoon or tomorrow at the latest.
I think it will. I'm washing my clothes to take them with me because I don't know how long I've got to go for today, but also, and I'm sure you guys will do the same, right? There'll be a press conference. When will that press conference be? I think if I'm sitting here at 6 o'clock when my show ends in Tuscaloosa and you don't know who the head coach is, something has hit a snag.
So you think you're going to be maybe doing overtime again, Ryan Fowler?
Well, I told my boss that, whenever it when it does come down, that I would keep going until, the late night hours. That's a great thing about local radio is, that's what we do. We serve our community just like you guys do there. It's, it would probably be expected. The last time I did an 8-hour marathon was when Mike Price was fired. Many, many years ago. And check this out. I was my own producer that day. I didn't have a producer. I produced and did the show. I would slide the phone up, and it would literally be, caller number 1, you're on the air. Go ahead. Ran about a 15-second dump. Yes. So I haven't done 8 hours in a long time, but I guess you never know. Today may be the day.
It could be, and I know, Ryan, it's been an emotional time in Tuscaloosa, no doubt about it. If Kalen DeBoer is the coach, how would you expect him to be accepted by the fan base or the reaction? Do you have a gauge? Has he been talked about? I'm sorry. Has he been talked about on your show?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that, that would – you have to get to know him, right? And my understanding is he has some introvert style compared to Nick Saban. I mean, Nick Saban is an introvert as well. So when you think about Kalen DeBoer, I hear his mannerisms are a little bit funny, a little bit quirky at times, but not saying that this should be any part of the consideration, but that he loves to sell his program, that he loves to do media interviews. Now, that would be something all of us would enjoy, right, that we would have more access. Now, that's Seattle where they're competing with a lot of different things, and he's having to do that. You wouldn't have to do that in Tuscaloosa. But I do kind of, look at Kalen DeBoer and go, he's won at every level, right? I mean, look at the win total. First year, he takes Washington. Guys, that's not easy to do. To take Washington to a national championship game.
No.
I was talking with another source out of the Pac-12, and he said, guys, I'm telling you, this guy, he's just cut from a different cloth. His X's and O's, the way that he schemes, could you imagine what he would do with this talent? I can't even, because this is where the skill guys are located. Yeah, Southern California's got a ton of skill guys, but he would get a hot shot quarterback, and could you imagine, for him trying to come into this system? You do worry a little bit about recruiting, but recruiting has changed so much. Let's just call it what it is. It's who's got the biggest paycheck, right? You walk in, well, I want this. Well, I can't give you that. Okay, I'm going somewhere else. That's what recruiting has turned into.
It has, and I'll give you a couple of rebuttals you can use on your show if you haven't already. Couple of them. Did Nate Oates have any SEC ties when he came to Alabama?
That's the answer is no.
Is he recruiting better than any Alabama basketball coach in history?
In the history of Alabama basketball, yes.
Let me ask you another question.
And I even asked this about Drew. I said, when Nick Saban was at Michigan State, his recruiting classes were not number 1 or number 2, but when he got to LSU, he turned them into number 1.
And did he have any Southeast ties when he came from Michigan State to LSU?
And even as much as we malign him on this show, Urban Meyer at Utah was the same way. He had 0 SEC experience.
So, listen, I did not like the Mike Norvell even being talked about even before the NCAA decided to, bust them last night, which I thought was kind of awkward how that news got out there pretty quick. I was not a big Mike Norvell guy. Any of these other names that you're hearing, I would accept them. I'm a gigantic fan of Lane Kiffin. I know he's probably not on the list. I'm a gigantic fan of Dabo. I don't know if he's on the list. If Kalen DeBoer said no, guys, that's the other part, because these people could be using Alabama to get a significant pay raise. So let's say Kalen DeBoer says no. All right, so now you've got Dan Lanning out, Kalen DeBoer out. Do you go back to a Dabo? Do you go back to a Lane Kiffin? I mean, I'm asking you guys. I don't know. But what if, because we've seen these coaches use programs to get what they want and to make their audience, or their fans feel, make them feel more appreciated. These coaches have an ego. And I wouldn't be shocked if there's another coach that gets involved with this. Because, I've heard some rumblings this morning from a very prominent source about a coach. And immediately when I got the message, I said, this is a coach that's trying to get his fan base to appreciate him more. Look, I even thought about Alabama, but I stayed with you guys. See, they wanted me. And you're already seeing that. So when I take a look at this, what if Kalen DeBoer, right now he's the number 1 probably target, but I also think what if he changes his mind? What if Seattle, what if he comes to Tuscaloosa and go, man, this is not for me. I mean, I can't live this type of life. I'm used to people, protesting in the street and burning buildings and whatever else they do out in Seattle. This is just not for me. Or he may be saying, please get me out of Seattle. Please, I can't take it. What a place to raise a family. I mean, I've got friends of mine that live out there, and it's just crazy. It's hectic. It's like a different, country when you look at it. But, a lot of things to talk about. But what if he said no? Do you go back to Dabo? Do you go back to Lane Kiffin? Do you swing for the fences on somebody else?
Yeah, that's interesting.
The world as it turns right here. It is.
It's going to be turning today on the game. Ryan, we appreciate the time. Thank you for the candor, and I'm glad you're back to 100%.
Yeah,
and you got back from Mexifornia.
Yeah, well, I've been saving you for when it does come down. I'm going to try to get you on my show. I thought it was yesterday, but I'm just sitting there waiting. But I think we'll know something this afternoon. If we don't, something's hit a snag. If we don't know by 6 p.m., something has hit a snag. I appreciate you and Scott. And, hey, I just want to wish all my Auburn people a great weekend. I know they love me, and I love them as well.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. All right, Ryan Fowler with us. Let's get at final break in.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
That Wreck in Athens at 31 and Hobbs should be clearing. 72 and 7 Mile Post, Limestone County may still be working. Patterson Lane east of Pulaski Pike had a utility pole down with live power wires on the ground. May still be trying to get that one wrapped up. A lot of folks in last-minute dash mode this morning. You be careful as you make the rest of your trip in. You get 2 pieces of hand-breaded juicy tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
The all-new Huntsville Boat Show returns to the Von Braun Center January 11th through the 14th, and I'll be broadcasting the Tom Abraham Show live from there at lunchtime on the 11th and 12th. The Huntsville Boat Show is an exciting time for all boat enthusiasts as it allows buyers to save thousands of dollars on the purchase of a new boat or just shop many brands for your future purchase. Plus, many other retailers will be on hand as well for all things water. So plan to be at the Huntsville Boat Show at the VBC January 11th through 14th. See you there.
Work injuries happen in Alabama all the time, whether it's an accident at work, getting injured, lifting heavy objects, hurting your hands on a machine, or just performing the same movement over and over until your body breaks down. But when it happens, there's only one law firm to call in Alabama. That's Pond Lehocky Giordano. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
The representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right. We're about done with this week. It's been a very entertaining week.
No doubt.
Very entertaining. Zach Etheridge again.
Yep.
He is leaving Auburn. He is on his way out. He announces his resignation this morning. Second assistant to resign in many days for the Auburn Tigers. Zach Etheridge is going to Houston. And since Alabama, Nick Saban retires, do you think Travaris Robinson now ends up at Auburn?
I mean, I think he'd be in the mix. I mean, he's a former Auburn player and done a good. He's already head coached with Will Muschamp there before. He's a hell of a recruiter. He's connected to Ryan Williams, so certainly, I mean, things change, things evolve. I'd certainly think he'd be in the mix, no question about it. But we'll see. But I think he's also waiting to find out who Alabama names as head coach.
All right. We'll let you know when that happens. We expect it to happen possibly by the end of today or tomorrow. Yep. If the momentum that we're seeing in Seattle hangs true, then it could be done pretty fast. All right. It's been an eventful week. Don't forget UAH Charger basketball.
Gotta keep it rolling.
Basketball? You guys got basketball tonight, don't you? Maybe.
Yeah. Huntsville High, as of now, 5:30, the girls. It's 7A Area 7 play. Sparkman Senators, Lady Panthers, and then the number 1 Huntsville Crimson Panther boys and the 2-time defending Huntsville City Classic champs until the Panthers claimed it this year. So your last 3 Huntsville City Classic champions playing tonight. Huntsville High hosting the Sparkman Senators and Jamie Coggins at 7 o'clock.
All right. Stay weather aware, everybody. See you back here on Monday.
It's official. 47 years in a row, Ford F-150 is the